I forgot what your third question was. Did you get your third question answered?
I still don't think it's been answered, though.
What was it? Refresh my memory, please.
The Highway 189, why it can't remain where it is. You're saying that that's the recommended route for traffic? What about the residents and everyone else that lives here?
Or the cost.
So we have all these people from out of county, out of city, out of state, running trucks and all up and down the highways. Why is that the only thing that's considered? You're not considering my family and those people.
Because this was a traffic analysis study to develop a alternate route to Main Street.
Hang on a second. One second. We'll get to your question in just a moment. So Jeremy, your question to you is, it seems to me that the audience is thinking that the decision's been made, 189 is going to be abandoned, and that's all there is to it. There's no other options. Is that correct?
That is not correct. The FHWA has not even weighed in on the proposal to realign their highway. US 189, US 40 are both federal highways that Udot operates and maintains. The FHWA still has to be engaged, and we have to have a conversation with them during the environmental process to determine realigning US 40 and US 189.
So,
Okay, let's move on.
why don't we put that as a suggested route? As communities, as everyone.
Would you like me to change it to suggested instead of recommended?
Absolutely. Well, no, I'm saying the suggested route right on Highway 189 where it is. You would have everyone's support if you did that.
So you're saying leave 189 as the primary route, suggested route. So Jeremy, let's talk about that for a moment. So we've come to a point where we've done a planning study, and the planning study has looked at some traffic alternatives. One is to abandon a portion of 189. What's the process of looking at what we studied and reanalyzing it?
So,
or is that what the EIS does?
That is exactly what the environmental study will do.
Again, let's back off the EIS
open roll, please.
until we know that's certain.
Listen, lots of people think EIS and environmental study are the same thing. Please forgive them if they say EIS instead of environmental study. Okay? Whether it's an EA, EIS, it doesn't matter. There will be an environmental study that needs to be conducted.
It matters financially.
It was all based on the recommended route.
We don't want.
One question. We've got to maintain order, so let's have one question, please. We'll stay here as long as you want, I promise you. Let's finish the previous question, and then, ma'am, I'm going to come right to you next. Are you ready?
So what's the next question?
So just finish your thought. I don't know if you had a chance to finish it. Regarding the EIS or the environmental study, or the difference and how they look at 189 and how that will be analyzed.
And the access as well. The access road that will be going right along the
Let's finish answering the further question.
So, yeah, everything will be re-looked at. The realignment of 189 will be looked at to see if that's feasible, to see if that's the best alternative, to see if that's the least impactful alternative.
So Jeremy, that's a decision that's not been made yet in terms of formally abandoning it, formally saying that's what's going to happen. That is just not the case.
No, that decision has not been made yet. Our study is basing its recommendation on the data that we analyzed and the data that we received. And that is how we make our recommendations. That's just how it works. We're process driven, and we base our recommendations on data, and the data told us this is what performs the best. This is what we recommend for further evaluation. And that will not be the only alignment that is evaluated in an environmental study.
Jeremy, thank you. I promise this young lady right here, the next question.
I think you may have just answered my question. So the environmental study will consider all the routes that have been proposed.
They will look at every route that was looked at in this study.
Why did you
Jeremy, can you itemize that? Jeremy, what was analyzed?
Are we talking about the 3 routes that were presented at the open house?
There were way more than 3 routes studied in this study.
Have we narrowed it down to just the one?
Yeah.
As far as a recommendation from this study based on traffic analysis and the high-level impacts that we looked at, that is what the recommendation will be.
So the procurement of properties and the annexation of properties along that route will continue and favor that route. Is that correct?
If the city and county want to, yes.
Exactly.
We don't.
Danny, let's go. I'm going to have you hand the mic back this way,
No,
ma'am.
right here.
Thank you so much.
The last thing I want to do is get up in front of this crowd and speak. My name is Danny Good. I'm the chairman of the Wasatch County Council. I have no desire to throw anyone under the bus. The county is not in favor of this realignment. Now, the county doesn't have a say in what happens with the airport, but we did pass a resolution in 2016, I believe, that we were against airport expansion, and we discussed tonight that we would...
Hold it.